Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Welcome back to the SEO.co podcast, and today we're going to talk about why cheap SEO isn't a good idea. If you visit a popular freelance marketplace like Fiverr, you'll see an array of SEO services for just $5, even all the way up to $25. From off-the-page to on-site to technical SEO, you can supposedly have it all for a tiny investment. These companies will promise to provide intensive SEO strategies for a low one-time price of $500 or less. But just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Cheap SEO services are everywhere. All it takes is a couple of spare dollars and you can pay someone to optimize your website, build backlinks, or improve your search rankings. Cheap SEO sounds nice in theory, but it's not worth the headache or the hassle. So what is cheap SEO? Cheap SEO, affordable SEO, low-cost SEO. You can call it whatever you want. We all have our own subjective definition of what cheap means, but it's essentially any SEO package that's priced well below industry standards. While inexpensive SEO might fit into your budget, you have to consider whether it's actually delivering a tangible return on investment. In many cases, the answer is no. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter how affordable SEO services are. They're a waste of your time and money. The moral of the story is that cheap SEO isn't good, and good SEO isn't cheap. Here are 7 reasons why cheap SEO is a bad idea. 1. Your SEO will cut corners. If you're paying a so-called SEO expert such a small amount for their services, do you really think they're going to give their best effort? If an SEO is only getting 20% of the going rate for his services, you're probably only going to get 20% of the effort. The other 80% will involve cutting corners, skipping steps, and automating tasks that should be done manually. 2. You won't be able to pay for the most crucial part. There's only so much that an SEO can do with a few $100s. He can conduct some keyword research, tweak a couple of technical elements on your website, and maybe even optimize a key sales page. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the financial resources to address the 2 most critical elements of any SEO strategy: content and links. Without content and links, your SEO efforts are futile. It doesn't matter how flashy your website is, or how many of Google's rules you follow. You simply can't gain the reach, exposure, or rankings that you need to generate results. Affordable SEO companies don't have the financial resources to produce quality content. If they promise lots of content at such a low rate, they're doing something fishy. As for links, the second integral component of SEO, there's simply no way to plan and execute a powerful link-building strategy without money. In addition to creating the content, it takes a lot of time to network, establish relationships, and secure link placement on authoritative websites that provide actual value in return. Instead of paying for quality links, a cheap SEO service will use gray or black hat techniques to find spammy websites and questionable blogs who will backlink to your website. Eventually, this could lead to stiff Google penalties. 3. You'll get a generic strategy. Search engine optimization is a highly unique endeavor. No 2 websites or companies can use the same strategy and generate identical results. A customized plan is necessary. The problem with cheap SEO services is that they have to use scalable cookie-cutter strategies to save time and improve efficiency. This means that they use the same SEO strategy for both a national e-commerce store and a local bank. If you pay for a cookie-cutter strategy, prepare to get cookie-cutter results. What you really need is an SEO service that learns the ins and outs of your company and develops a unique strategy designed to propel you to the top of the rankings. 4. You're paying for someone else's learning curve. While not always the case, someone's pay is generally indicative of their experience. Someone who charges $100 an hour for his or her expertise is typically going to be more advanced than someone charging $15 per hour. While there's a time and a place for letting people improve and grow their skill sets through experience, you don't want it to be at your expense. You're paying for the cheapest SEO package in the industry. You're probably paying for someone else's learning curve. That's a big mistake. 5. You'll risk your company's reputation. Do you know what happens if you cut corners, miss key steps, and pay for a bunch of sketchy backlinks to point to your website? For one, you lower your reputation of your brand in the eyes of your customers. They can spot the difference between a company that's well-respected and one that's taking the shortcuts. Secondly, you run the risk of stirring up the ire of Google. Google is okay with SEO, as long as you're following the rules. They aren't okay with black hat techniques that compromise the integrity of the system. If they catch you blatantly breaking the rules, which is often the case with cheap SEO, they reserve the right to penalize your site until things get cleaned up. This essentially kills all of your inbound traffic. 6. There's no accountability. When you partner with a reputable SEO company, you're typically working with a company that cares about its image and wants to cultivate satisfaction among its clients. When you partner with a cheap SEO service, they don't really care. They're in the business of generating as many one-off clients and short-term projects as possible. There's no expectation of repeat business. When your SEO only cares about earning a quick buck, there's nothing you can do to hold them accountable. By the time you express your frustration with them, they're already working on their next project. This leaves you with very little leverage. 7. You'll waste countless hours. If a business service is cheap, it usually means you'll have to offset these savings with time. Whether it's back and forth emails, corrections, revisions, or simply stress and frustration, the time wasted on cheap SEO takes away from the value you could be creating for your company through sales, marketing, or some other core aspects of your business. That's all we have for you today on why cheap SEO is a bad idea. Tune into part 2 and the final installment of this episode on why cheap SEO is a bad idea, how to spot cheap SEO packages, and how much quality SEO actually costs. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.